Alright, this will be a short video on a very important topic: who goes first during a gank. I often get asked about how a person should go about improving their ganks, and understanding this is one of the most crucial steps for improvement. Mastering this will let you pull off ganks against difficult targets and pull off brutal chain CC scenarios. Generally, the one who should always go first is the one who has the most immediate and fail-proof crowd control. The best examples are Twisted Fate's Gold card, any anti-stun, Warwick's ultimate, and others of that like. Basically, immediate forms of crowd control allow you to set up riskier crowd control to follow it up, or get in a position to do other things. However, there's always a depends clause for this, as you'll see in a bit. An exception to the last tactic I just explained is when the ganker pulls off an ambush gank and the target face checks the position. If the enemy blindly walks into your ambush location, it allows you to use high risk CC right then and there, such as CC with high delays or that are melee range. This also greatly increases the value of red buff, as it makes it super easy to apply. This rule also applies when you witness the enemy basically blunder into a fight because they burned all their mobility or resources attempting something and you're there to punish them. In a situation like this, you can basically use anything as long as it can be deployed before the enemy's cooldowns are reset. A situation like this also lets champions with little or no tools actually initiate a gank. During this time, the relative power of all crowd control is increased and you have full reign as to how you should use it. My recommendation in this situation is to consider what maneuvers your target could do once their cooldowns have returned to them, and hold on to any spell that will let you control them longer when that happens. Spammable crowd control is also a special exception, but mostly because it doesn't matter when you use it. As an example, Mundo's cleavers have such a short cooldown that you can use them at the start and it wouldn't really screw you over. The thing to consider with spammable CC is whether or not the resources needed to cast it are truly necessary to burn. The last one can also be the first one depending on the situation. Any gap closer hard crowd control should always be saved till last to catch the target when they try to flee after getting engaged on, except when you have no other means of initiating in the first place. Using Warwick's ultimate as an example, if your target is someone with mobility and blinks, you'd want to hold them down immediately, so you'll initiate with your ultimate against them. Against less mobile champions who would want to preserve their gap closers or flash like Malphite or Aatrox, you'd ideally want to pressure them enough for them to use their high value gap closers and then immediately catch them again. So let me break this down for you, and hopefully it can become easier to understand. Spammable CC can be used whenever, as long as it's not detrimental doing so. Immediate and fail-proof crowd control should be used first to start the gank, as it allows you to set up further abilities. The exception is when the enemy either blunders into your ambush gank or you catch them getting overly aggressive and you can punish them. And lastly, gap closer CC should be used first if the enemy is a slippery target, or last to make sure the enemy doesn't make a last-ditch escape. Keep in mind that improving mechanics that involve multiple players and being able to read opponents requires experience and practice. You will fail, die, and burn a few times before this catches on. However, I hope me pointing this out can help you catch your own mistakes. The last few videos have had great responses when it comes to helping players fix their mistakes, so I hope this one achieves the same thing.